Today, we are joined by Debbie Arnold, who is our social worker here at the Cognitive Empowerment Program. And we're going to be talking about incorporating exercise into your life without the heavy lift. We're going to talk about practical ways to stay active, move your body so that it doesn't feel like an extra chore, just one more thing that you have to tick off by the end of the day. We're going to talk about blending it into our everyday tasks and our socialization activities. And then we're going to talk a little bit about setting smarter goals and body image and how that can be affected. So, Debbie, I am going to pass it off to you. Again, I want to encourage you, if you have any questions, to email us at the outreach@empowerment.emory.edu. or pop them right here in the chat so that we can talk with you while we're here. Debbie,
Thank you.
Share.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Tracy. I hope everyone can hear me. And I'm going to go ahead and share my slides with you, I hope. Okay. So I hope you're able to see the homepage of my PowerPoint with the pink banner. Please let me know in the chat if you cannot. And again, I'm Debbie Arnold. I'm a licensed clinical social worker here at the Cognitive Empowerment Program. And our Live Well sessions focus really on living with joy, purpose, and meaning despite a diagnosis of early memory loss or mild cognitive impairment. So today we're talking about incorporating exercise, more exercise if you're already doing it, into your life without a heavy lift. And I'm not sure why I'm not able to advance my slides, but there we go. Okay. So first, I'm going to kind of make the case. I'm going to set up my argument for what physical exercise could possibly do with cognitive function. And what on earth does it have to do with our mental health? And I guess what I want to say is you're a whole person, and your brain is not a separate organ, really. It's the supercomputer, and it drives everything. So there is a lot of evidence for exercise. And starting here on either side with this nice sweaty girl, right next to the hand weights on one side, we have encouraging the pituitary gland to release endorphins. If you're familiar with endorphins, those are the happy neurotransmitters, or the ones that kind of lessen our distress, that they kick in after you've done some vigorous exercise. If you've heard of the runner's high, that's what that's about. Endorphins are also called the naturally occurring opiates in our body. So they make us feel good. And then on the other side, next to her other hand weight, exercise has been shown to reduce our sensitivity to stress and lessen depression and anxiety. So there are some interesting studies that talk about antidepressants versus vigorous walking, and they seem to have some similar impact on depressive symptoms, and some people do need both. So then going across the top, you see the little lips and the eye, increasing the functional activity of your temporal lobe. So that's the lobes that are on either side of your brain, and they're responsible really for storing sensory memories. So exercise has been shown to increase functional activity there, improve learning and mental performance, your sharpness, and maybe preventive in dementia or Alzheimer's and just normal aging of our brains. These two graphics, the one I just showed and this one, come off of Twitter So Suzette shared them with me, and I thought that they were great visuals, and I encourage you to look at the references section at the end, and you'll be able to access that yourself. Um, so moving on, a 25-year study, which in the scheme of research is a really long longitudinal study, found that higher cardiovascular fitness is also associated with better verbal memory and reaction time. Resistance training positively impacted response inhibition process. So that is a really interesting finding to me, because we know that some of the folks that come to CEP are dealing with some symptoms of reduced inhibition. So, sometimes the ability to filter what crosses my mind and what I decide should come out in my mouth. That's what we're talking about in terms of response inhibition. And that seems to respond positively to resistance training. And finally, patients with psychiatric disorders who practiced yoga or walked several times a week have higher gamma aminobutyric acid, which promotes relaxation and sleep. Megan won't be surprised to hear that the yoga group showed better progress than the folks who walked in terms of their improved mood and their decrease in anxiety. So when it comes to exercise, a little, a lot is better than a lot, just a little. So what on earth is Debbie talking about? A little, a lot. What I mean is for our weekend warriors who sit at a desk Monday through Friday and they're not very active, and then on the weekend, those folks tend to mow the grass and go hiking and walk the dog twice as far as they do during the week. On Monday, they're feeling really achy and stiff like the Tin Man, because just doing that on Saturday and Sunday and not having exercise built into the rest of their life during the week is really not the best. I do want to caution you to please consult with your primary care doctor before you decide to begin or increase your level of vigorous exercise. But in general, we really hope our viewers will consider 30 minutes of vigorous exercise more days on than off. In other words, exercise more days than you sit on the couch and don't exercise. And my goal today is really just to gently shift us toward a more active overall lifestyle. So I think it's helpful, at least it is for me, to consider a typical day. Think about how you yourself tend to wake up each day. Not in terms of, do you wake up happy or sad, but really when it's time to get out of bed, what kinds of things do you do to help yourself to feel more awake most days? And we all do similar things each day. Many people have exactly the same thing for breakfast every day. We like routines. So are you a person who might rely on caffeine? Are you a person who is in a habit of watching the morning shows where they, the talking heads in the morning, either the news or the, kind of pop culture morning shows? Or are you a person who goes outdoors? So think about how you help yourself to wake up each morning. There is really good evidence that doing some deep breathing exercises, or what people who practice yoga refer to as pranayama, but really intentionally bringing oxygen into your body really does have a positive impact on our brains. So 3 quick sips of oxygen through your nose, and then a deep sigh out your mouth. And doing that several times where you're really bringing oxygen to your brain intentionally can really help you to feel sharper and more awake without caffeine. And are there things that you have on your morning to-do list each day? Maybe you bring in a newspaper, or you take a pet outdoors to potty in the yard. Um, and, and maybe what some of your non-exercise goals are for the day. So I think it's important to consider incorporating exercise into the things that you already have on your to-do list, rather than adding, and I also have to work out because Debbie said it's good for my brain. So people who build little exercise snacks into their day, rather than wait for the weekend and exercise more than they're used to, tend to enjoy exercise more and not feel as sore and stiff from whatever exercising that they've done. And also have more energy and better concentration. Think about who you channel when you need motivation. So, we all have somebody in our lives who exercises more than we do, or they seem to have more motivation and more energy. Studies have also shown that we can't really wait around for motivation to show up in order to add more exercise in. Motivation will show up once we start healthier habits. And try something new. You might like it. Maybe you're a person who's in the habit of walking in your neighborhood, but walking someplace new and different, as long as it's safe and you're not going to get turned around and have difficulty finding your way back. Maybe you walk with a friend, but the novelty is enjoyable and it's good for our brains, just the new sights and sounds and smells. It might be as simple as walking around a different shopping mall that is air conditioned, if it's, August in Atlanta. I don't know if mall walking is still trendy. I know that it used to be quite a thing. But building some more activity into the things that you already have on your list. Maybe, if you're in CEP, one of your goals is to see friends more often. And we encourage people to be lifelong learners. So if you've signed up to go to the weekly movie with a friend, then, meet a friend earlier and walk around the block together, or just park far away. And as long as it's not going to rain, you've got your exercise built in. You've got some more steps. If you're doing something sedentary, watching TV or reading, try to set maybe a reminder on your phone or on your digital assistant like Alexa to give you an intermission where you get up, move your body, stretch, go outside and check out the weather, get a healthy snack, and be sure you're hydrating. Most TV shows will pause and you can come back to them. So things like that. Novelty is good for our brains, and trying something new, maybe even to music, could be enjoyable. So I wanted to really define some terms. And these come from a really interesting article from Psychology Today that you'll also find in the references at the end. So body image and body sense. And they're exactly what they sound like. Image has to do with how we imagine we appear with, if you close your eyes versus looking in a mirror. And I apologize for this figure, which someone told me was a little creepy because she or he doesn't have a head. But it was it was how I chose to focus on the body. So body image is constructed over our lifetimes. It's very dependent on culture and on also your lived experience. It may include messages that you've gotten from people, while you were growing up about your size and shape. And it also has a lot to do with the running comments that we all have inside our head, our self-talk. And the messages that we've gotten from the media and from people close to us really are internalized, so that internal commentary may be positive, it may be negative, it may be some of each. But I'm encouraging you to kind of pay attention to how you talk to yourself about your size and shape, to be gentle, and maybe even to question some of those comments that you hear yourself making. And then body sense is also kind of what it sounds like. Sense being a reference to sensations. So how it feels to be in your body. It's an internal experience of your physical self. So you're getting input from your eyes, your ears, your skin, your sense of touch and taste. You're really experiencing your body, and a strong sense of living in your body is not something that is automatic for all of us. It doesn't just happen. Some people really cultivate a connection to their bodies, while others live, kind of a more abstract and even have kind of an inaccurate sense of themselves. So body image also changes as we age. And I thought that this was kind of interesting, that it has a lot to do with body appreciation and satisfaction. So studies actually show that as we age, we don't feel more negatively about our bodies, even though, we may be holding weight in different places and our skin may not fit us quite as taut as it used to. But we tend to be more focused on how our body is working, just being vital, and the situations that we can recover from. And we appreciate our health and well-being more as we age, and we're more satisfied with our bodies. We're less focused on the appearance and more interested in, are my knees going to hold me up today? And we're appreciative when they do. So body appreciation can also include appearance and self-respect, but we need to really try to give ourselves encouragement and credit for our strength and recovering after setbacks, because this is how we protect ourselves against ageism. So it's also important that we can strengthen our body awareness. Body awareness is, having stability about our body image, And we can intentionally build this connection through meditative practices like breath work and yoga. And we can also, pay attention to the present moment on purpose and without judgment. And that's mindfulness. We talk a lot about mindfulness at CEP. So positive body image, including appreciation, is really associated with an overall sense of well-being. So it's a very good use of our time and energy. So how might you begin today to really have healthier habits as far as your body? Smarter goals um, are the ones that are time limited and they're realistic for you, and you check in with yourself. So appreciating your body and noticing your self-talk would be kind of the low-hanging fruit there. Um, you can combine moving with your other goals, like being social or your lifelong learning activities. Be really intentional about routines. So, you know, just try building in some of those breathing activities into your morning and see how that works for you. See if it gives you um, a little bit more energy or helps you to face the day really fresh. Try something new, maybe to music. There are so many options now that we have YouTube. We can try country line dancing, or we can try a different kind of strength training, as long as it's okay with your primary care doctor. And most of all, please notice your self-talk about your body. So that's about what I've got. Certainly give yourself credit, extra credit, when you build in exercise to other things that you're already trying to do better or more frequently. So it looks like we have a lot of comments in the chat. I don't know if those are, I'm going to stop showing. I'm going to share my references page so that you'll know that this is going to be posted on our YouTube channel shortly. But I would really encourage looking at some of these links, because I've really just scratched the surface with this today.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Debbie. A lot of the comments in the chat are about how thankful they are for how simple you made this. A lot of really good information that I always learn and can pass on to others with cognitive difficulties. Debbie, can you give us some ideas of what it could look like to incorporate exercise into like somebody's daily routine if they're mostly inside their home?
Sure. So, the little picture that I had of the person with the hand weights, we don't even have to use weights at all. We can just use our own body resistance, but we can also employ things that we already have around the house. Soup cans are great. If you put a 15-ounce can of chickpeas in one hand and a 15-ounce can of black beans in the other hand, those are your hand weights. And it's really easy and accessible, to just build those in. And there are a lot of routines, again, on YouTube if you're interested. But if you have steps in your home, and as long as it's safe for you, using your own steps in your home to build strength and resilience is a great idea. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, I like that. Nice and easy. I love the soup cans. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think that is all the comments that we had in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, and thank you all for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon.
Thanks, Tracy.
Debbie, we actually got one more question if you're up for it.
Okay.
We had somebody that asked about yoga versus walking, and if you have any thoughts on that.
So I think you're accessing different, thanks for your question, Sherry. I think you're accessing some different things. And also there are many different kinds of yoga. So, if you're doing the therapeutic chair yoga with Megan, and we have a lot of recordings on our YouTube channel, that you can practice those. Um, that's going to be great for reducing stress and increasing your flexibility, and helps you to, feel a little bit more peaceful and building that mind-body connection. Walking, you're gonna see different things in your neighborhood, and so you're going to be stimulated in different ways. It's far less climate controlled, so you really do need to be careful that you're walking either in the morning or later in the evening, so that you don't end up getting dehydrated and feeling really lousy. But walking is a really good way of also building in mindfulness. There are walking meditations where you really are focusing on your breath or on the experience of your foot as it touches the ground and your weight as it's shifting, with each step from one foot to the next. And, it's a different experience of hearing the birds, feeling the breeze. Maybe you bump into a neighbor. So you may be checking off some other boxes. And I think the best case scenario of all is if the goal is 30 minutes of something more days on than off, then, on the days when the weather is compatible with walking, that's a great thing to do. And on the days where, the cool period in the morning has come and gone and I didn't get my walk in, I can, tune in and watch a yoga video and I can still get my exercise that day.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the idea of incorporating a little bit of everything and tapping those different parts of our body.
Mm-hmm.
Someone just mentioned that their mother walks 2 hours every day. However, she's a slow walker. Is that still helpful? She gets concerned that she walks too slow.
I do think it's still helpful. I think slow and steady is it's not a race, and that everybody's everyone's body is unique. And especially if you're working with your own provider, we don't know what it takes for one person's heart rate to, be raised just enough and sustained for a period of however many minutes that it's going to be good for that individual. So, speaking with your medical team about an exercise program that's really best for your body is the best case scenario. But absolutely, walking is better than not walking for your mom, as long as she's safe.
2 hours a day is pretty impressive. It's a lot of walking.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. I think that is it for now.
Okay.
Thank you all for hanging out with us. Again, if you have any questions, always feel free to shoot us an email and we will either come up with a discussion about it or get back to you if it's a smaller question. So that is it for today. Thank you all and happy Wednesday.
Thanks for joining us.